It's done. Okay, well, my name is Roxana Guerrero. I am an instructional technology specialist. This is our 6th year with the Office of Instructional Technology. Prior to that, I did teach at a high school, then a middle school, a high school in Austin. I'm from Austin, Texas. And then I came here and I taught at South Park Middle School, and then at King High School in mathematics. And then I became a mathematics coach for the district, did that for a little while, 7 to 8 years. I really enjoyed it. And then we opened the Office of Instructional Technology, and I've been here ever since. I really enjoy teaching technology, and one of the things I try to do best is really think about how this can help your students, make it engaging, and also as I go through it, I try to explain to you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So definitely, if you have any questions, let me know. And put those in the chat box. And today my moderator, Mr. Dennis Wisner, is in the house, and he's going to be answering questions in the chat box and keeping us on track. Dennis, would you like to introduce a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Dennis Wisner here. A lot of y'all know I started off at Moody High School for 7 years, learned a whole lot, and then I went to Collegiate High School. In both places I was a social studies teacher. Then I was fortunate enough to go ahead and become the instructional technology advisor to Branch Academy and Collegiate High School. And then I made my way last year to the Office of Instructional Technology, and I work with a fantastic team. I'm here to support Rox today, so hit her with all the questions you got, y'all. We're gonna knock them out the park.
Woo! Man, this is exciting. And we have Taft High School in the house, Dennis. West Soso, and what was the other one? Flower Bluff? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Man, maybe they picked it up from Tech to Teach. It's still going, huh?
I suppose so. I think that's funny. Okay, very good. Well, I'm hoping you're just as awake as I'm trying to be here. I have a lot of smiling faces at me, and I'm just like, everyone else. Some people are like looking like it's Monday. I understand. I'm right there with you. Okay, so this is the Canvas Expectations Ninja course, and we're going to be looking a little bit at announcements and discussions. We're going to touch on those, and then we're really going to look at the media tool, how it works, and how do we get it to turn on the student side so they can give you some recordings back as a submission. We're also going to be looking at the embedding Google Docs, sharing rights with Google, and how you would put that into your assignments. And then I'm going to try to leave some time for quizzes. I like to show you some examples of quizzes. And if we can have time, maybe go in there and take a look at how you might set one up. So we'll go ahead and get started. Before I get started, let's talk about announcements. In Canvas, what are the types of announcements that you might do with your students? Like they're coming in on Thursday. Would you make me do an announcement before school starts, the first week of school? What types of announcements are you thinking that you might use if you were to do an announcement in Canvas? That's the question. So what type of announcements could you?
Just a simple welcome announcement.
Okay, very nice. And you can put that in the chat box. We'll do both. You can unmute and speak, or you can put it in the chat box. So yes, upcoming announcements, parents, students, very good. Maybe your conference time, your Zoom link. Very good. Welcome announcements, Zoom link. Very nice, Teresa. Good job. Okay, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So I am in Canvas. I'm in my sandbox, and I just made a little intro page there, something to have there so that when you came in, you could actually see something there. You would have to be sharing the screen, of course. And then what we're going to do is just look at real quick here some other ideas. So notice that I have in my announcement, this is just a little page to kind of give you some ideas. And you know what? I keep forgetting. Let me check one more thing. I forget every single time I do this. I think I have a little notes page for you. So let me see if I can look it up real quick.
I'm not seeing your share screen either, Roxanne.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Give me just a second. That would be helpful, I think. Definitely. And there it is. Let me put this in the chat box for you. Give it a second for it to come. So what I'm going to do is put a forced copy in the chat box. Let's see right over here. Nope, let's do this one. Control C. Had the same problem last time. Oh, here we go. Let's make sure it goes to everyone. So these are just key points of some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today. And so you can go ahead and open it. Give it to you in just a second. There it goes. Let's see if I did that right. Yes. So if you click on that link, then it will have you force a copy, and then that becomes your copy, and you can take notes there on a second tab if you like, or you can have it there for later. Excuse me. And we'll say done there. Dennis, did that come through all right?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, so announcements. Yes, anything to your students and parents. You can do this by entire class or a section of a class. You want to make sure that your course is published so that the announcement actually goes out to your students. If you prepare the announcement and have it go out and it's not published, and the students will not get it, it will not be visible to them. And you can also attach files if you want to attach a file. So some other ideas are web conferencing links. Of course, we talked about that. How-to videos, anything that you want to send out to have for your students to receive right away, you would be able to do that. So over here on the left-hand side in CCISD, we do home syllabus announcements and modules. The third one down is announcements. I'm going to go ahead and click on announcements to just show you that real quick. Right over here, we like the blue button. The blue button allows us to go ahead and start an announcement. In this particular sandbox, I've already done 3 announcements, and so they become listed there. Same thing with students. Once you get an announcement and they click it off so it goes off their dashboard, it does land in the announcement section of their course so that they'll be able to see past announcements that they can review. So I'm going to go ahead and click on plus announcements. And I can title it, so this might be a welcome. Go ahead and title welcome. And then I'm going to get my rich content editor. And this is the area right here in the middle where I'm able to write. So maybe I want to send a hello greeting, whatever it might be. I am your teacher, and so forth, and you can give lots of information. A couple of things that you might want to know is that sometimes they're working off a cell phone, so you want to go ahead and do 18 plus font, maybe 24. You have in the rich content editor lots of different opportunities to bold, to change the color, and to center, and so forth. So you have that availability. You also can add a Google file in here also. Any files that you like to add, directly embed in the announcement. You can also add a flyer. You can add a recorded media snippet of you speaking, welcoming them. You could add that there. So in the rich content editor, anytime you're using your rich content editor in announcements, assignments, quizzes, anytime you are able to pull it up, you have the same opportunities in all of those to use all of these different menus. I do want to show you right down here. Here's where it says post to. Right now it says all sections. If I wanted to post it just to the Rocket section, I could post right there and it would just go to that group of students, maybe that second period, first period, maybe this are the students that, I don't know, maybe you have a group with the accelerated students and maybe a little group of students that go a little bit slower. You can have sections in your course where you give the announcement just to those bits of students. Right down here, you can go ahead and do the delayed posting. If you click that one, it gives you a calendar where you can decide what time and what day this is posted. And the very last one, you can do also allow liking. So this is just a little bit about announcements. I'm going to go ahead and save it. When I save it, it does go out to my students. I really don't have any students in here, but that's what it would do. And so there's your announcement. And I want to talk a little bit also, when you make an announcement as a teacher, it's good for it to go out to your students, but to also come back to you so you can see what it is you sent out. And it's almost like a little double checking. So the way you do that is you go here in the global navigation, the dark bar. We're going to click on account. And the very first option is notifications. We're going to click on notifications. And so just as a teacher, it's going to be a good idea to go ahead and click right here. Right in the middle, we have course activities, announcements, and announcements created by you. And I have both of these checked right away. Your students will only have this one, announcements. And so you want them to have that checked so that they're notified right away if you send out an announcement for your class. And then the one I was saying for the teacher is right underneath it. Anything created by you, it comes back to you so you can see what it is that was sent out. So this is in notifications, and that's how you do announcements. Any questions on announcements? Looks like we're doing pretty good, pretty straight.
Yeah, you're doing great. Nothing in the chat.
Next, we're going to go back to my dashboard. I'm going to go back into my sandbox, just where we were, and we're going to look at discussions. The good thing about discussions is think about what you would discuss in the classroom. It would be the same idea of things that you would be discussing in Canvas. So in the chat box, tell me a couple of things that you might discuss the first week of school in regards to what are some questions you might just ask your students? Is it content? Is it brainstorming? What are some types of things like, what would you need to have your students respond to you about? So we're looking at discussions. How comfortable they are with technology, good. If they have any learning experiences in regards to maybe prior knowledge, getting to know page, nice, very good. Brainstorming, I like it. So let's go look at discussions. Oh goodness, how they're coping with the pandemic, how you would like to learn in this class. That's huge, how they like to learn. Very nice. Okay, some other ideas. We said brainstorming, explaining their, having them explain to you their understanding of something, like showing evidence of learning, sharing their information, asking questions. Another one with the discussions, it allows you to have them give peer review or peer responses. So they can respond to the question at hand, and then they can go and respond to other students. So that's something you might think about. Probably not the first week of school, but a little bit later you can have them do peer responses. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna go in and let me go ahead and go back to modules. I'm gonna show you how to create one of these real quick. So I'm in my modules. To the right of this gray bar, the title, there is a plus sign. The plus sign up here does a complete module. When you do a plus sign within the title, it puts it inside that module. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the plus sign. Right over here, I have a pull down screen, and I'm gonna click on discussions. This is a new topic. And then here, we can put in our title. As somebody said, getting to know you. All right, so there's my title, getting to know you. And then I'm going to go, what you can do, it always comes out at the bottom of your module, but if that's something you want to move up, we can just simply move it this way with the 8 little dots. And then I'm going to click straight into the title so that I can go ahead and edit. So this is what it would look like. Go right up here to my edit button, click on edit, and then I can go inside. Again, you have your title here. You can change the title if you've made a mistake, or you want to change it to something different. Again, we have our rich content editor page. And notice also, this is the 2 levels or 2 lines of options in the rich content editor. For us, this is in Canvas, this is the old rich content editor. I'm going to show you where you can go and change it to the new rich content editor. And the new rich content editor is a little bit more user-friendly, I believe, especially with pictures and images, bringing those into Canvas. It's a little bit easier with the new rich content editor. All right, so right here, we can put in a question, and the question might be getting to know you. So what are your favorites? And then it could be, I don't know, sometimes maybe you want to know color, maybe you want to know subjects that they enjoy, maybe you want to know hobbies. Okay. So again, we're going to select all. You can do Control A to select all. We can make it bolded. We can make it 18 points or higher. I'm going to do 24. and we can center it. You have all those same different options. I'm gonna leave it left lined, and I can change the color. So there it is, color, subjects, and hobbies. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to add a little recording to make it more personalized. And we said color, subjects, and hobbies. So what I'm going to do is notice one thing I like to do is hit a couple of returns so that I have it exactly where I want. And I want to place the cursor where I want the little thumbnail to show up. And this is going to be the media tool. As a teacher, I can be a little bit more personable and record a little something. When I do my media tool inside of Canvas, I don't want to go more than 3 or 5 minutes. You sometimes lose your students' attention, so we want to keep it real short. And here I am. There it is. The one thing I need to do is I'm presenting this. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that I can use the camera for the media tool. All righty, so I'm going to go right up here. It looks like kind of like a YouTube. It's rectangular with a little triangle. If I hover over it, it says record and upload media. So I'm going to go ahead and click on there. And this is what it would look like. And I'm going to record media, so it's coming up here. What it's going to do, it's going to count down 3, 2, 1. And right on 1, it's going to take a snippet of my face. So I don't want to be talking when it's counting down, because then I might get an awkward image there. It's going to be kind of funny. So, but then I want to start talking. And then when I'm done, I'm just going to stop recording and I'll be able to move forward. All right, so here we go. So this is a recording for my students. Looking in the camera. Hi, this is Ms. Guerrero. Thank you for being here today. I have a quick question for you. I want to get to know you. Tell me a little bit more about your favorites. I'm curious in your favorite color, your favorite subject, and your favorite hobbies. And be sure to record and smile pretty. So very simple. There's my pretty smile. If I didn't remember to smile at 3, 2, 1, I'd probably have that awkward look. I can here start over. I can play it to see if I like it. And it is showing on this side. I think I forgot to hit that button to hear, for you to hear it. But let's say I like it, it's good. I can go ahead and hit save. What it's gonna do, it's gonna put a thumbnail inside my rich content editor. There it is. And this is what I call, I say it sticks, it's there, it's ready to go. If it doesn't show up, that means you're probably something went wrong or it went too long. I know a teacher did about 8 minutes worth and it just didn't stick, or it took a little while for it to come up. But if you want it to look like this, and then in a minute when I hit save, you're gonna see that it becomes a thumbnail. So it's very short, it's a discussion question. And then right down here, we do have some options. Again, you can do it to the whole class or a certain period or certain students. One of the options you have is called Grade It. If you click on Grade It, the best thing about that is the Canvas will let you know who's responded to the discussion question and who is not. So you don't necessarily have to give it a grade. You can say complete or incomplete, but Canvas will keep track as to who has submitted a reply and who has not. Further down here, excuse me, you can, like I said, give it a grade or not. Right here where it says display grades as, you can say complete or incomplete or keep it as points. Here's where you can require a peer review. When you click on this one, you can manually assign the peer reviews or you can automatically assign the peer review. So Canvas will do that for you. And then if we go further down, here it's assigned to everyone and you always want a due date. When you have a due date in Canvas, it shows up in 5 different places. It will show up in the student's to-do list, on the student's dashboard, when they do the list view. It will show up in the syllabus down below. It's gonna show up in their calendar automatically. Anything you put a due date on will go into the student's calendar. And then the last one is if they have their Canvas student app, it will show up in the student app. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a date here of today, and it always defaults to midnight. And then I say save and publish. And so this is what it's gonna look like. What are your favorites? And I'm waiting for my little thumb there. There's my little thumbnail. So the students will see something like this, and then they will click this button and they will be able to watch that. And I forgot to show you. So let's say you wanted them to respond back to you. Let me go back into edit. The one thing you can have them do now, Dennis, did they change this or am I not seeing submission type?
Scroll up to the, it should be right there.
Yeah, no, maybe it's just for, maybe, I really thought they
Are you on discussions? Yeah,
yeah. So maybe not in discussions,
correct.
if that changed or not. So we'll look at it in assignments in just a little bit. Okay, so like I said, this is where it's at. And now let's say this is a discussion. I would want to see how the students see this. One thing that you can do is go over to home, click on home. On your home page, over to the right, towards the top part here, I said 1, 2, 3, maybe the sixth one down, it says student view. When I click on student view, it's going to give me this fuchsia pink perimeter border all the way around. And so I know that this is the student view because if you look here at my course navigation, I only see 5 choices, and one of them is modules. So I'm going to click on modules. And I've been clicking them off and on. Let me see if I remembered. And so if this one's it here, this would be introduce yourself. I think getting to know you. This is actually a different one I did, but we'll go ahead and click on that one. So you can see what students have done there. And so here it is. This is a different one. You can give instructions, and then there is my media tool. You could even embed a video if you wanted. So we can show you that in a second. So this is how you would see what the student sees. And notice up here it says submit assignment. The student would click there to submit an assignment. Let me go back, and down at the bottom says leave student view. I'm going to click that one off. I was actually cheating with you guys. Let me go back to my modules and make sure I did not have it published. So there's my publish button. Everything has to be published. Notice that I did have these down here published, but I didn't have the actual module published. I'm going to try it one more time. Go back to home, and we're going to click on student view, and we should be able to see this module. Go to student view, 6th one down. I get my pink fuchsia border around there. There it is. And I can go to modules. And then there's my Canvas Ninja expectations. These are the pages I was showing you. Here's getting to know you, the one we just did. And here is what are your favorites, color subjects, and hobbies. And there's my little thumbnail. So this is how the students will see it. They would simply click here to reply. And then they also have their rich content editor, and then they can use this little button here to upload a media. And so when they click it there, they would get the same thing as a teacher, a little media tool, and they can respond. So this is one way that they can introduce themselves to their classmates. Some of them are shy. They may not want to do it, but that's one way to do it. And or if it's, I'm not sure about this. I think this is correct. Dennis, if you'll help me. If you have it on graded, I think it goes to you. You'll have to play with it because I think it changes a little bit.
It does go to the speed grader. Is that what you're asking? Like
yes. Do the other students see it?
That is, yes, that is the thing with the discussions. Other students do submit, see it. However, you have that option of checking off that students have to submit before they're able to see other student submissions.
Yes, I love that. So let's go back here just for a second and show you that one. When I go into my edit mode, one of the options that will work really well for you, also depending on what the question is or the brainstorming, right here, the second one, it says users must post before seeing replies. So sometimes it's good for them to see what other people have put in there, especially if you're brainstorming as a class, or if it's something where you really want to know their understanding, you can click that one and have them post before they can see other people's responses. So all of these are in there. There's also liking if you want to do liking, and then you can sort it by likes. So the most popular comes first. So there's all these options in there. And all we do is we save it and it's good to go. All right, so I'm going to stop there for a second. Do we have any questions?
One question that came up when you kind of first started talking about the RCE was someone mentioned that their RCE looks different. And I went ahead and put in the chat that they have the new RCE, I don't know if you want to clarify that for folks.
Yes, so just real quick, when I go in here again and I click the edit mode, I'm going to show you this real quick before we change it. We have 2 lines of options. And so this automatically tells me I'm in the old rich content editor. The new one is about the same, but it puts a lot of these in its own little pull down menu. So what I'm going to do is cancel this one. The way you change it is you go to your settings in your course navigation. And this is the settings that a change that you would do by course. So if you have 4 courses or 3 preps, you would have to go in and do each one. So I'm going to click on settings. And in settings, there are 5 tabs. I go to my last one, feature options. About the 4th one down is RCE enhancements. If I go ahead and turn that one on, so RCE is Rich Content Editor. This is your enhancements. This is something that is available now to you in our CCISD, so you can go ahead and click that. And now when I go back to modules, so again, settings, feature options, 4th one down is the RCE enhancement. And I don't know if you've seen this one, Dennis, RCE autosave. We'll go ahead and put that there. I haven't used it, but we'll see what it does. Looks like it's going to save automatically. We're going to go over here to modules. I'm going to go ahead and go back into that same one that I was showing you. Let's try this one. And when I go in there now and I click on edit, I'm going to have one row of options, and then the other row is going to be in the 3 vertical dots menu. So it would be here. So now it looks, see, there's only one row. Click here, and then there are the other ones. And so it takes a little getting used to. There's a possibility that in CCIC, we're going to change over to the new rich content editor. So if you're not very familiar with it, you might want to go ahead and start here so you don't have to learn 2 systems. One of the advantages of the new RCE is that when you go look for, let's say, a document, right away you can upload from your computer, you can upload from the course, or from your user documents. I think that when you're doing pictures, that would be this one with the little gallery. Again, you can upload from your course, from your computer. It's just a little bit user friendly. Before you had to upload to your device and then you had to pull it in. This one, I think, shortens the steps and makes it a little bit easier. And sometimes when you have images down here on the bottom left and they're waiting for you to open, you can click and drag into the area where you're going to upload and it takes it right away. So I think they've just done a couple of upgrades that make it a little bit easier for you.
Rox?
Yes.
There was also a question about uploading, let's say, like from Loom or some other external video platform. And so using the media tool, they can also upload media. Can you show them where that's located?
So like if we wanted to upload YouTube media or
let's say like a Loom, because with Loom, you'd have to download that video and then upload that via media tool, because you can record, but then you can also upload from the media tool.
Okay. So let's say we wanted to upload it here. You also want to always put your cursor where you want the media or the recording to land. And then you go here. In this case, it's going to be inside the 3 vertical dots. And I believe you can go here to record and upload media. It's the same button that we used to record. We're going to click on the same button where we were recording. But notice here it said computer, record, or embed. So if you had a file in your computer, you can click there. Or if you had the embed code and you were using one, maybe you uploaded your Zoom to YouTube and have the embed code from YouTube, you could use that one there. But here you would just go to the computer and you would click on the rocket to go find it, and you can just find something from the computer as a file and put it there. Is that what you want me to show, Dennis? Is that what you were thinking?
Yes, that's perfect. And then there was one question, and the question was in a discussion: can a student delete a submission once it has been submitted? And the answer is yes, and there is a setting to turn that on and off. And I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat on where that is.
Is that in the settings? I think I've seen it in this. In settings, let me go look real quick. In settings and course details, there's something like that. Let me just take a look real quick at the bottom. When you go to course details, it's the first tab. Go down to the bottom and it says more options. Let students attach files to discussions. Let students create discussion topics. Let students edit, delete their own discussion posts. So if you don't want them making their own discussions, you can turn these off. That's what I was thinking, Dennis.
100% correct.
Okay,
That's
very good.
so students are able to, let's say they submit something, and you and I have done this before. We type something, we hit submit, maybe in haste, and we're like, no, you want to bring it back. So in a discussion, if they, if they didn't like the reply or they hit submit, then realize after they hit that, they can change it. Unless you just, so the default is they can change it. That's the good thing. So if you don't want them to be able to change it, you go ahead and check that box off that Rox just showed you.
Okay, very good. In assignments, once they submit something, they really can't undo it. You would just get all the different submissions that they've gotten. So on the teacher side, you'll see more than just one. Let's go ahead and take a look at, here's some ideas for your media tool. So on the teacher side, the media tool, different ways that you can use it. Excuse me. Like we said, the welcome greeting, giving instructions sometimes, typing out instructions and then explaining it out loud helps the students. If there's content, a quick teach piece that you can show them or talk to them about in regards to the content. They're using the media tool to read test questions and or test answers. So when you get into the quizzes, you have that rich content editor. You can go ahead and read the questions to them. Sometimes that's helpful. Sometimes you can give them little hints before they get started on the quiz. Any discussion topics, you can just get in there and be animated and get the students excited about the topic that you're going to be teaching or discussing. And then of course, feedback. There's a place where you can give them feedback in the speed grader. You can use the media tool for that also. It could be video and or audio. On the student side, we'll show you that in a second. You can have them introduce themselves to their peers. You can have them ask questions or explain a concern. Sometimes it's easier to explain what they understand than it is to type it, so you can have them share their learning. If there is a topic or a skill they need explained, maybe sometimes it's easier for them to explain what they're not understanding. So anytime you can have them record back to you, that's always helpful. At the elementary level or middle school, if you're trying to help on fluency for reading, you can have them read a sentence or a paragraph to you and record it so you can keep track as to how they're doing. So there's another way of doing it, using media tool to have students read information back to you. And we do have a little video that I'd like to share with you. This one tells you a little bit more about how the teacher would use it and how the students can use it. So if this little section went a little fast, there's a video there on the media tool for teachers and students. All right, so click on that one if you need to. Go ahead and click it and you can watch it later. We're gonna go back here to modules. And I want to show you an assignment with the media tool being a submission, and then I'll show you, we'll go into the Google file. So I'm going to go back to my Canvas Expectations Ninja module to the right, my plus sign, go ahead and click on that one. And I'm going to do an assignment this time, new assignment, and I'm going to say this one is going to be asked, let's see. Sometimes what I would like to do, I want to show you this, is the naming convention of your assignments is also good. So I could do like, if this is the first week or first grading period, fourth week 1.4, we're going to do assignments. And the title would be, what have you learned? So I went ahead and put the question there. I'm going to add the item. I can indent if I wanted to, and I can also indent on the outside. Again, remember it falls down here. If I wanted to bring it up, I can just pull it up with the 8 little dots, and I can go ahead and click on it. And I'm gonna go inside and edit my assignment. So content pages are more for content, explaining information. Assignments is when you want them to submit something to you. So here is my title. If I wanted to change it, I could change it. Again, I can give instructions. here and Control to select all of it. I want it to be 18 points or higher, change the colors, and I would prepare all of the assignment as I would like for them to do. So we have to decide what it is we want them to do. In this case, we do want them to give us the media tool back as a submission. This is the point of this assignment. And so I would ask a question here. Tell me more about your understanding of, and whatever it might be. And then maybe I want to bold this and make it a little bit bigger so that they know that that's what I'm looking for. Change the color, whatever it might be. There it is. And if you wanted to use the media tool as a teacher to explain a little bit more of what you're looking for specifically, you could do that. All right, so we're going to go down here, and this is going to be, again, you could do 100 points. If this was just like an introduction or something that you're not really taking a grade on, you can just say complete or incomplete. I don't believe that 100 will show. And then right here where it says submission type, and you want to know a little bit more about their understanding of a particular topic. So you could go here to submission type. You could have them turn it in online, on paper, or external tool. If you ever click on no submission and they're using the Student Canvas app, then nothing really shows up because nothing is due. So you always want to do something like online or external tool. We're going to do online in this one. You can have them type directly into a text entry box. You can have them upload a file. But right here, the media recording, when you click on this one, you can have students record back to you. So the media recording in submission type is what you want to have clicked. This is new this year, submission attempts. This is unlimited or limited. So if you click limited, it's going to say, well, you can have them turn it in twice. So maybe here you can decide, well, I only want them to turn in, give it a one chance or a second chance of turning something in. If you don't want that, you can just say unlimited and they can turn in as many as possible. On the student side, they'll only see the latest submission. On the teacher side, you will see all the submissions that they've turned in. So if they turned it in 4 times, you will see all 4 and they'll be time stamped. Going further down, you again could do required peer reviews. We're going to go here to assign. You can assign this to the entire class, a section of a class, or one particular student. And then, of course, we want to have our due date. So we're going to do the 10th, and it's going to default at midnight. Let's say we wanted it today by 4 o'clock. So right down here where it says time, I would clear that off, and I would put 4. Let's say 4:30 p.m. And there's a little done button. Click on the done button, and I have August 10th at 4:30. I'm going to save and publish. And there it is. And notice that I have the speed grader here waiting for when students turn things in, they submit things in, I can go in and grade right there. So let's take a look at what that might look like. This is the assignment. It's worth 100 points. And then they can use a text entry box, a media recording, or a file upload. So I'm going to go back to home. And I'm going to go look at my student view right here on the right, student view. And it's going to give me the pink fuchsia border around my screen. And I'm going to click on modules. And I was going to do what have you learned? So I can click on this one. And this is what it would look like on the student side. So there are my instructions. Tell me more about whatever particular topic you want. I could do a media tool if I wanted. The student would simply go here to submit assignment. And then right here, they could decide that they're going to type directly into the rich content editor. Notice they have the new one also. They can do a file upload. They can choose the file from their computer. They can choose it from Google Drive. And then right here where it says media, we can click on media. And notice that they have that same button, record and upload. They would click here. And it looks very similar to what you would be doing as a teacher. And then the student would sit here and record, and they would save it, and they would be able to submit that also. Okay, and they would have a place to make a comment for the teacher, and then they would click submit assignment, and that would go in for the teacher to grade. questions on assignments and media tools for teachers and students?
Rock, so we have a great question from Mr. Garcia over at Moody High School. He's asking if there's an option that does not allow the student to go to the next part of a module until they finish an activity first, or like some prerequisites, in other words.
Well, that's a very advanced question. I'm glad you asked. There is a way to do that. And that's another session. No, I'm kidding. All right, so if you go over here to modules, in modules, notice that I've kind of been organizing this in the way that I've been presenting it. But if I wanted them to go from one to the other, in the Canvas module title, over to the right, there's a 3 vertical menu, call it the little snowman. Click on the little snowman, and we are going to edit. So when I click on edit, usually I come up here to change the title, but right here it says lock until. The lock until will let you prepare the module for a week or 2 in advance, and you can click on that and put a date. But underneath that, it says add requirement. When I click on add requirement, this shows up. It says there's 2 bullets. Students must complete all of these requirements. Students must move through the requirements in sequential order. So I can click it this way, and they will force them to go one at a time. Or I can say students must complete one of these requirements. So say, for instance, I showed them 3 content pages, and then maybe we had a discussion or an assignment, and maybe there was a quiz. I could go in there and say, on the quiz one, you have to make a 70 or above in order to move forward. So here are the ones that I have in there, the discussions. This is all have to do with the different ones. So maybe I wouldn't want them to go forward until they did the discussion, and they had to put in some information, maybe here, what have you learned? So you can choose the page, and you can put on there, they would have to view the item, mark it as done, submit an assignment, or score at least a certain amount. So you can decide if it's linearly, you know, one after the other, or when you get to this page, something specifically has to happen. How are we doing? Does that sound good?
That's awesome.
Cool, I like that. We don't usually get to that, so good job, Moody High School, representing. Okay, so that was the media tool for the students and the teachers, and that was also an assignment. We're gonna take a look again now, an assignment with, or it could be a page where you are embedding a Google file. And I'm gonna do a Google slide presentation, and I'm gonna do it on a content page. So the first thing I do is I like to go find my Google file. I want to go ahead and open it. So this is just, I went and put a whole bunch of United States maps on there so that you can see, kind of colorful. And I want to go to sharing, and I want to make sure that anyone with a file can view. So right down here, this is also a little bit different if you haven't played in there. When you go in here, it's most often restricted only to the people who created this. So right down here where it says restricted, I'm going to do the pull down menu. I can keep it with anyone at CCISD, or I can do anyone with the link. When I click on anyone with the link, oh, sorry, too much. Anyone with the link, over here to the right, let me change that. I can decide if they're going to view it, if they're going to comment, or if they're going to edit it. And most often, you just want them to view it. So right now I have it, anyone with the link can view. I can copy that link and just put the link there for them to go. But what I'm going to do is, now that it's set for anyone with the link can view, I'm going to say done. And I'm going to embed it in my Canvas content page. So what I like to do is click over here. If you do 3 times real fast, so select the entire title. So select the title and then do Control-C for copy. And it's ready to go. I'm going to go back to my Canvas page. And I'm going to go over here and make a content page. So to the right of my module title, hit the plus sign. I'm going to put it in content. So it's going to be a page, new page. And I'm going to put, let's say this is 1.4. And we can say content if you want, United States map. Right? And I hadn't shown you this, but here's where you can indent. 2 levels shows the most significance. You can do 3 also. So we go here, and there it is at the bottom. If I wanted to move it up, I can move it up. I guess I'm going to just leave it there. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here. And here it is. Remember that we did change it to our rich content, the new one. So it's going to look a little, so if you haven't seen this, this will be good. I'm going to go here to edit mode. Again, you always want to give instructions to your students. So go ahead and put that in. Instructions. So they know what to do with the material. Change the color, make it bold, whatever you want it to do. And of course, 18 font or larger. Okay, so right here, you want to do two things. You're going to want to enter it as a link, and you also want to go ahead and embed it. So the reason we do link, let's see if I can type and speak at the same time, is because sometimes if you have a parent, I guess I can't. If you are viewing, so you might want to put something like this. If you are having difficulties viewing the file, please click here. And I'm gonna leave my cursor there. So what happens is if you have a parent that has a G-username, log in, and they log in, they can go in and see some of the things that you have available for their students, but they can view it as a teacher. When they get to this page, they may not necessarily be able to see the embedded file because they're not part of our CCIC domain. So you're gonna wanna have this link here. We're gonna put in a link. If they click on the link because they're having difficulties viewing it, then it'll take them outside of Canvas to Google, and because it's anyone with the link can view, they'll be able to see it there. So this is just to safeguard in case they want to be able to get out of Canvas to take a look at it. All right, so in our old rich content editor, we had a little V, it was blue. We would click it here, we would go to Google Apps. In our rich content editor, we're going to click here. And this is so funny because I thought as a math person, this was a D2 and it was sideways, but this is actually, looks like a plug, an outlet plug. If you hover over it, it says apps. So we're gonna click there and we're gonna go look for the Google app. These are alphabetical. So we're gonna select the app that's gonna help us. Here it is. I'm gonna click right there on Google Apps. It's gonna take me to my Google Drive. So if you're logged into your Google Drive before you get started, this works best. And it's going to give you a search bar. Remember, we did that Control A or Control C to copy. So now I'm just going to do Control V to paste. If you miss it by one character, sometimes that has difficulties finding it. So I like to do the Control C, Control V. And there it is. So I'm going to click on it. I get a little check. And then sometimes you can't see this because you might have a lot more things showing there. But you want to go down here. You can either link it or embed it. So the first time I'm going to link it, go ahead and click link. And it's going to put my, my hyperlink there for my students or my parents to click if they need it. I'm going to hit a hard return. And this is where I want to embed the same little Google file. Again, you can embed slides. You can embed a document. You could possibly even embed some sheets in there, Google Sheets. So same process. I'm going to go right up here. I'm going to look for my little plug. That's what I call it. My D2, click on that one. It's not a D2, it's a little outlet. If you hover over it, it says apps. I click on that one. I'm going to go down here to my Google Apps, click on that particular word, takes me to my drive. I still have my Control V, so I can just paste it. And there it is. I have my little check. And so this time, instead of link, I do embed. So when I click embed, it should automatically put it inside a Canvas for me so the students don't have to go anywhere. And here it is. They can use the right arrow to go through it. I guess we'll have to do it on the outside. But there it is. So you have your instructions, you have the link, and you have the Google file. So we're in content pages. So it's not really an assignment that they have to turn in, but notice down here at the bottom where you have a button that says add to students to-do list. So I can click that one there and turn that on. And what that's going to allow me to do is give a due date. So this is content. I really need to have them watch or look over it before tomorrow midnight. So I can give them a date. And I put here that only teachers can edit this page. So if this looks good, I'm gonna go ahead and save and publish. And so because I gave it a due date for them to kind of look over it, I really needed you to go over these Google Slides. Then it will show up in their to-do list and in their calendar and so forth. This is what it would look like. And then right over here, you could go through and look at all the different slides. And there it is, the Google Slides. I was going to say one more thing. Google Files. Oh, I forgot my train of thought. Do we have any questions?
There's a question, can you embed the document without linking it, or do you have to link it first?
So you do not have to link it. I would say it's good practice to do both in case someone cannot see it. Again, if they're not part of our CCIC domain, then they won't see they may not be able to see the Google file that's embedded. So I like to do both, link it and then embed it. I'm trying to think what it was I was going to say. You want to make sure that your sharing rights are correct and embedded. Cannot remember what I was going to say. Okay, very good. So try that. That's how you can get your slides in there without students having to leave Canvas. It's right there ready for them to look at it and go through it. All righty. We're doing really well on time. Any other questions on embedding Google Files?
Nothing in the chat, but if y'all have questions, this is an
Good
advanced feature that can really engage students. So if you have a question, please ask.
So my question is, I've put on my student view after doing this and the embedded image doesn't come up. Is that because students have to be logged into Google to see it?
That's what it was. I knew there was something more I was going to say. So it's a good practice to have them log into their Google Drive prior to opening Canvas. And then sometimes if it doesn't come up, what it will happen is there'll be a little word here in green that says authorize. They will just have to click on there to authorize to put in their Google credentials, their login credentials, and then it should recognize them. And it should only do it once, but yeah, because I don't usually have to do it, but it's a good practice to have them log into their Google Drive before they get started. Great question. Any others?
Yes. So if we have, let's say, a Google slide, can we do a Google slideshow with links? Would the kids be able to access those links through the embedding, or do they have to go to it? That makes sense.
Yes, I believe, I don't have one in here, but I believe that's, yes, you'll be able to click on the links.
Okay.
Dennis, is that correct? Do we want to add anything to that? Links within the slides, I believe they can click on them.
Yeah, they can click on them. Just be mindful that you create a folder. Like one thing I always have teachers make sure they do is to create a folder of the content they intend on sharing with their students, and make sure that folder itself is shared with anyone with a link, because sometimes students will use it on their phones and they can't access. And so just to kind of avoid all that and students saying I can't access and them giving up, just on the folder that you're sharing your content with all students, change the shared settings to anyone with a link. So that way, let's say in a presentation, you have links that go to other resources, they'll be able to access those without any kind of worry on whether or not they will.
Great questions.
Yeah, great questions.
What
Another
I'd like
question
to-
came through, sorry.
Okay.
Would it be confusing for students to add due dates to pages and assignments?
No. So when you have a due date, it does go to 5 different places, and it does the due dates in their calendar. So having the due date helps it organize it for them. And so you can say in the title, must view by a certain date. You can put it in the title. And so they'll be able to see that it's not something they won't be able to submit. It's just a page that they'll have to view or interact with. And feel free to jump in there, Dennis, if I don't know if I answered the question, but I think it does. They'll be able to see it if it's something they have to submit or not. And then having to click on here to show that this is something they have to do by a certain date, I think it helps.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what Rox just said, is that if it's a page that you want them to check out, like it's not just something that's optional, I recommend just adding a date to it. It's not going to hurt. A lot of students love that to-do list. And I, all the time, would utilize the calendars. Just make sure you show that to your students and let them know all their assignments for all their courses can be on that calendar. And it organizes them. And so it's a great tool. And so if a student needs to look at a resource that's on a page, definitely add a due date to it. I think that would just be helpful for all students.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
The first question is, can we change the default to always, the font to always be at 18 or higher? That's my first question. Instead of doing it manually every time?
No, I believe you have to do it manually every time. And I know there's a way to change the font. I have not played with it. Let me go in here to my rich content editor. Let me see if I can figure. You'll have to help me out here, Dennis, because what is this? Oh,
yeah.
Save.
And I get Mr. Garcia's question, man. It's like about efficiency, but right now that's not an option to change the font as a default. There's a couple of questions I've asked Canvas like and requested, but that was one of them. Things that we're doing all the time, you having to change. It's not really efficient. So they're very responsive to needs. It's just kind of they prioritize stuff, but that's definitely on their radar.
Okay, and then my second question was, are you able to just review, I know you showed me individually, but exporting your modules or assignments, etc., to another course?
Yes. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. I want to show you this real quick before we move in that direction. This is my first time I've seen this. Found autosave content. It says autosave content exists. Would you like to load the autosave content instead? So it's going to preview what it's going to do. That's my preview, and then I would say yes, and it would change it. So it looks like it's letting me save in there and remind me there's new things in there if I wanted to change it. So that's kind of cool. I hadn't seen that one. Let's see, in one of these.
Are you for the new
yes.
For the new content, rich content editor, go ahead and on your keyboard, it's Alt F9. There you go. The hidden yes. Toolbar. I don't know why it's hidden.
The Alt F9 gives you that little hidden one, and so you can go through. It's in this one. I was looking for fonts right here. And so there's where you can change your fonts. So a lot of people don't know that. Alt F9. So if you want to change it, they're giving you permission now. You could do Comic Sans or some of the other ones, Helvetica. They're all in there. Strike throughs, different things. Okay, very nice. I'm glad we did that. And then let's go ahead and save. When you are here, you can do two different ways. Let me go back to my module. In the module, you can go to the right of the module and use your 3 vertical dots, your skinny snowman, to upload the module to Commons. This is running slow today. You can upload it to Commons and take that entire module and put it in different courses. So it would be here, share to Commons. You can do it that way. You can also just do one particular piece. So like say, for instance, the getting to know you, I've created it. I could go here to share to Commons, move that to Commons and bring down just one element or the entire module. And then Dennis, I am drawing a blank. I know there's a way that you can do a share directly. Brandy,
if it's a module, you cannot do it. If it is an item, like any of the items that you see in your course navigation, like the pages, assignments, etc., you actually have to click on that item to do a direct share. So if you go to, let's say it's Rox, let's say it's a page, or let's actually click on assignments. That's more common. On your course navigation, click on assignments.
It's taking a second.
Sorry, Rox, in the course navigation.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. And this is a fairly new feature. And then what you do is you click on the 3 dots at the very end of that assignment or whatever it is you're wanting to go ahead and send to. So you can see send to or copy to as part of those options.
So you could send it to a particular person?
Or a course.
Or a course or a copy. Copy to, and then you can find a course and put it in the course you're looking for. And some of these courses are online, so you have to know the name of the course. Good to know. Fairly new. I think just it came out at the end of last year, I believe. Yeah, so importing your textbook, oh my, that's going to be a different type of question. What you might want to do is to do it correctly. You might want to contact your IT specialist and have them walk you through it. You would probably want to start a new course, and then you could import, what was it, import material, let me look. Go to home, after you copied it, import. Just go to settings. Great questions there. Import course content. When you import course content, you can import the entire content from a course, even a course from last year, or you can do bits and pieces and actually, excuse me, cherry pick from that course instead of doing the entire course. So you would click on that button there. You have to know what course it's coming from. Okay, very good. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into quizzes. I want to show you some quiz examples, and then we're going to take a look at inside of a quiz. So I'm going to go here to quizzes. This is just a multiplication fact quiz. When I have it here, there's a preview button at the top, so I can show you what it would look like on the student side. These are just simple examples. Notice on the right, I see that there's 6 questions, and I can click on that question to take me directly there. Some options that you have is that you can have the quiz only show 1 question at a time, or you can have them show all of them. You are allowed to put instructions in there. You can type these up. All of this was typed up before the quiz. So this is an example of where you can add pictures to your question. You can actually do a snippet of a star question there if you want it with the multiple choice. And then down here you would put A, B, C, or D. Here's just a simple one, and you can have, I think, up to 3, 4, even 5 multiple choice answers. Right down here is an example of where you can have a question and have the media tool where you read the question and possibly the answers, multiple choice answers. It's also a true false. Right here, this is an example of matching. So you have all these different questions, 2 times 7, 3 times 6. And then what I did was it takes all of the answers, and then you can add some distractors in there. So if you just want the 5 answers and they're all unique, that's fine. Or if you want to put some distractors in there, you can do that. So this list of answers is the same one on all of them. And the students will have to go in there and pick and choose the correct answer. So that's how the the matching looks like. Here's an example of where you just took the entire snippet of the star question and put it in here, and then you could do F, G, J, and H, or H and J, that's backwards, or you can just type. So this is different examples of what you can do inside quizzes. We're going to go keep editing, so it takes us out of this mode. Inside here, well, let me show you some more before I show you that. Let's say save, and let's go to the next one. Trying to go to the next one here. Next. On this one, let's take a look. You can also decide how many point value. This one has, looks like there's a little bit more, 9 questions. Here's again, this one is a science tools quiz. There's safety goggles. On the pull down menu, you have to decide what the safety goggles are for. And so here's a little bit more in regards to the matching. More true and false. Your multiple choice, you can have more than 3 or 4. This isn't too bad. These are all very simple. And again, you can have your media tool where you're reading the question and the title. Let me go to the next one, see. When I do keep editing, it allows me to get out of that view and I can go to the next one. Let me show you one more. I think this other one has more. Let's see if this one is the one that has the pictures. Nope, it's the same one. Well, okay, well, let's take a look at how we would do this. So I'm going to go back to modules. I thought I had one more example. Oh, here it is. I don't know why I didn't go there. The figurative language, quiz 1. We're going to preview that one. So this one has 5 questions. So here's an example of where it says you could put pictures in there. Choose a sentence that is a simile. So they have the sentence and the picture. So you can actually have images with your multiple choice. So I like that. And this is all pick and choose. So you can decide if you want images or video recordings. You can choose the different types of questions also. All right, so let's go back to modules. Over to the right, we have the plus sign. We're going to hit plus. We've done pages, we've done discussions, we've done assignments. Now we're going to do quiz. Say new quiz. And we're still pretending we're in 1.4. You can actually put quiz. Whoops, I don't know how to spell it or type. And then just for simplicity, multiplication. Okay. We're not really doing groups right now. That has more to do with major and minor grades. You can decide that you wanted to indent. You can indent it there, or you can indent it on the outside. And we're going to add an item. So when you do quizzes, it ends up down here at the bottom. We're going to click into that to go edit it. And when you are in the edit mode, you're going to be able to set up the quiz first. So notice you have details and questions. Mastery paths is a different session, so we're not doing that today, but we are in details. Notice that you have your rich content editor. So again, you can type in your instructions. Give whatever instructions you need for the entire quiz. So that would go there, all right? And then right down here, there's different ways that you can use this. So you could do a practice quiz where the student takes it as many times as they want. And this is, of course, for practice. You could do a graded quiz and Canvas will grade it for you. Specifically, if you have correct answers for the different types of questions. If you have an open-ended, it won't grade it for you. It'll give you time to go and grade it yourself and add that to the score. You can use it as a survey, graded survey, or an ungraded survey. So remember that whenever you're grading something, that means that it's going to keep track as to who has done it and who has not. Another thing about the graded quiz, some teachers were really thinking outside the box and they did worksheets in the quiz that were graded. So instead of having to grade the answers on a math worksheet, they made it into a quote unquote quiz, and Canvas graded the homework for them because it was like auto-graded assignment. So once the students did the assignment, they went and took the quiz or put in all their assignment answers, and Canvas was able to grade it for them. So think about that. If you don't want to do a lot of grading, Canvas can grade that for you. Underneath that, we have options. You can shuffle the answers. You can also do a time limit. I know that if there's something you want them to do and you feel like they can get it done in 15 minutes, you can put a time limit on there. Also, sometimes that helps if you don't want them Googling or looking for other things. It doesn't always give them time to get all the questions done. So if you wanted to do a time limit, you could and put the time in there. You can allow multiple attempts. Even if it's a graded quiz, you can decide, click here, allow attempts, and decide maybe I want them to do it at least 3 times or 2 times. You can decide how many. And Canvas will then give you the highest score, the latest score, or the average score. So I'm usually interested in the highest score. Further down, it says, let students see quiz responses. Incorrect questions will be marked in student feedback. So if you're having them do it more than once, you know that first student will go and take the quiz and give the answers to all the other students. So maybe you don't want them to see the answers at all. You could take that off, or you can have them see the answers after their last attempt. Put that back, only after their last attempt. Or you can have them show the answers after a certain date. So everyone has to get it done by a certain date. You can have them show one question at a time. So at the elementary level, maybe one question at a time is better. Or secondary, you could just have them see all the questions at once. So it would just come out linearly, kind of like the way I was showing you, it was one after the other. At the secondary level, if you want to require an access code, this would be a code that you could come up with yourself, and it might be different for every period so that they're not sharing it and it's not available until you're ready for them to take a look at it. And then again, you can do the entire class, a section or a period, or a certain group of students that you want to take this quiz. And then of course you would have a due date. And I'm gonna say that today. Whoops. Go ahead and click on the 10th. And then I would save it. So right here, all we did was set up the quiz. You decide how you're going to use this and how often the students are going to be able to see it or work on it. All right, so after you do the instructions, the second tab is called questions. So we're gonna click on questions, and we wanna start a new question. So we're gonna click there. You're gonna get your rich content editor, and you'll be able to start with question. If you're gonna keep them in the same order, you can just say this is question 1. And you can decide here what type of question it is. So those are all your options. Multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, fill in multiple blanks, multiple answers, multiple drop downs. There's your matching to numerical answer, formula questions, essay questions, file upload question, or text. So there's no question, but maybe they're going to write down a concern or a question, or maybe a reflection for the past week. Some of these are open-ended. I believe the fill in the blank, unless you give them a word bank, then they might have to come up with their own questions that they put in the blanks. I know that the numerical answers can also be open-ended. Unless you have specific answers, you could maybe put that in the multiple choice and they'll grade it for you. Of course, the essay question is something that you would have to leave blank. Canvas will leave it blank and you could go back in there and grade it yourself. So these are all the different types, and we looked at some of those. Over here to the right, you would put in how many points that question would be worth. And then right down here, you have the opportunity to write the question, answer, and then you could even write a comment. So if this was a distractor, you could ask a question. Were you able to count all of the rows and columns, or whatever it might be? So you can add the answer and then responses to the answer. You can also choose to make a different question the correct answer, and so forth. Let's see, here's where you would add another answer, and you would update the question and you'd be ready to go. So it's a matter of going in there and playing with it. Do we have any questions on the quiz or ideas about quizzes?
The only thing that came up in the chat box was about the shuffling answers. Just that they're able to show all the answers so that it's less likely that, you know, students probably will have a snapshot, etc.
Yes, so you can shuffle the answers or not shuffle them. Sometimes it's hard when you put A, B, C, and D says all of the above. It will shuffle them around. And I thought there was also a place where you could shuffle the questions, but I didn't see that.
I think that's in the very beginning on that first page.
Let me go back and take a look.
On the details, yeah.
I didn't see it. Let's see. Shuffle answers. Show one question at a time. No. Maybe they took it off.
That's, I think we're crossing our lines with this and the new quizzes.
Ah, that's where maybe I saw it.
Yeah.
Notice on this one, when I said show one question at a time, you can lock the question after they answer it so they don't go back. I don't think that's a good practice, but that is an option available. That is available. Okay, so do we have any questions? That was real quick on the quizzes. Remember that in everything that we showed you today, you have your Canvas teacher checklist where you can go and take a look at the hyperlinks that we have for you. You also have here in help, remember that you could go to your Canvas guides and look specifically at Canvas guides or Canvas videos to take a look at that. And you also have your IT specialist that can help you. So are there any questions? Go ahead.
Do you have a video capability on this, on the quiz?
Yes, so if I wanted to see more on the quizzes, I could go to Canvas guides. You could either look at the guides or the videos.
No, I meant, can you do a video? For example, I'm the choir director. They would have to sing back to me. Can they make a video of that on
On the quiz or on the assignment?
the quiz? If I have a singing test,
Yes, I believe so. Let's take a look at that. Let's go to the question. Or we're in the questions. Yes, so let me click here. I'm wondering if it would have to be, I'm thinking it might be an essay question. And then let me see. I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's it. And then they should be able to get that rich content editor with the option for the media tool.
Oh, yes. So when they respond to the essay, then they'll be able to go here to their little skinny snowman and do this one here where it says upload record media. So yes, once they're in there, they'll be able to go there. Nice use of your media tool, Ms. Rodriguez. Very good. And then we say update. Okay, any other questions? All right, that was fast and furious. Let's do a 2-word check-in. If you will tell me in the chat, how are you feeling now about the information you've learned? 2-word chat. Let me know how you are doing. And while you're doing that, I will go grab our information. Let's see. Great, thanks, more informative. Very confident. Oh, very good. Very helpful. Very good. We are also recording this, so you will have access to this recording. I will put the link later this afternoon in the choice board, so you can go click on that. Very great information. Gaining knowledge. Very good. Love that. Moving forward. Excellent. Very good. And let's see. Okay, so then let me go ahead and share. Yay. Very exciting. Dennis, will you happen to have the Google form ready to go?
I do. I'll go ahead and put that in the
Put that in the chat
right
box.
now.
So there is a OmniTrack remote check-in. I believe the code word is CCIC all caps, but for our course, we're keeping track as to who is in here and who's been able to go through the entire hour and a half. And so he has put in the link. There's the link to view. The code word for today is Marvelous Monday. It's going to be the code word for today, Marvelous Monday. So you're going to go to view the form. You're going to put in Canvas expectations with Roxana Guerrero. And today's keyword or code word, secret code, is Marvelous Monday. Marvelous Monday. I don't know how often you can check in with OmniTrack, but we want to definitely have you check in here with the Google form. It's Canvas expectations, Roxana Guerrero, and the secret code is Marvelous Monday. I should write that down since I just made it up.
It says session. Which one is this one?
Yes, so if you've gone to others, you can say this is your second or third, but if this is the first one you've done from the choice board, you can put first choice. So it has to do with how many you've attended, not that this is the first one of the morning.
Okay, sounds good.
Great question, Ms. Chavero. Very good.
And what was the session title again?
Canvas expectations. And I am Roxana Guerrero. And thank you, Dennis, for being with us. You've been very helpful. Awesome. And so good job, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for here with us.
It was Marvelous Monday, right?
Marvelous Monday, yes. Because I'm still trying to wake up, actually. Very good. And Dennis Wisner, he just left to go set up. He is going to be presenting the new analytics, a little bit more on the media tool, and I believe the speed grader. So if you haven't seen those, that would be a good one, especially the new analytics. As teachers here in CCIC, I believe your principals are going to be asking for a weekly report on how your students are participating. And so the new analytics will give you an opportunity to see how often a student is logged in, when the last time was that he was logged in or she was logged in, and also just participation. So how often they've interacted with your discussion, your quizzes, and your assignments. So that's going to be really good. If you haven't seen that, it's called the top 3 tools in Canvas, and it's starting here with Dennis Wisner. If you'll go back to the choice board, click on his link, you'll be able to see some awesome things. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roxanne,
Yes. Go ahead.
was this course in the check-in?
In the OmniTrack? Is it
OmniTrack,
in?
yes.
Yes. I don't think so. I think they're waiting for us. They're still in a transitional period. And so once we get it in there, we're going to go back to our chat boxes and check who's in there, and also the Google form. That's why you're filling out the Google form. We'll be able to give you credit from there. So make sure you grab that Google form and put in Marvelous Monday, and you'll be set. We'll give you credit as soon as we can get all that sorted out. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed it. Y'all did a great job. You're moving forward. You're excited. I wish you the best this year. And Thursday is right around the corner. Good luck. Enjoy your students as best you can. Have a good day. Bye-bye now.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.